Hello, you guys. It's Moira Casaba, and I am here to kick off our intermittent fasting course. I'm so excited for all of you to get all of this information and just realize how much this can change your life. So I want to give just a kind of a quick bio on just my background and how I stumbled into intermittent fasting about, gosh, it's been like 5 or 6 years now that I've literally been living this way, and it's changed everything for me. So I have a fitness background, a nutrition background. I owned a Pilates studio for lots of years. I owned a cold pressed juice company where I really fell in love and studied extensively the effects of fasting on the body. And so I kind of stumbled into this. I will also tell you, I had an eating disorder way back, and then I kind of I always say I got over the eating disorder, and it kind of shifted from eating disorder to disordered eating. And I was always a binge eater. I still love to eat lots of food. I want to sit down and have a really big meal and really enjoy the food. I also come from a family that's just all about the food, Surprisingly, we're not Italian, but we do love to eat. And so intermittent fasting is just something that, because of a lot of the background that I come from, really works for me. And what I'm going to break down today is we're going to keep it super simple. This is going to be a 5-day course, and we're going to dig a little bit deeper into intermittent fasting as we go. And I'm sure you guys are going to have tons of questions. We'll talk about, how this affects your workouts, how it affects your hormones, just all of the we're going to dig deeper every single day. But today is just an overview and kind of your call to action on day number 1. So I want to break down the different types of fasting, intermittent fasting that are out there. There are several, and I'll kind of end with the one that I want you guys to put into place and the one that I do. So there is a intermittent fasting protocol called ADF, alternate day fasting, and that is where you basically are 24 hours on, 24 hours off. So you're eating and then you're not eating, you're alternating days. And what that specifically looks like is that you are actually doing a 36-hour fast, so no food of any kind for 36 hours, and then you're eating for a 12-hour window. Don't worry, we're not doing that. That to me is a little extreme, and I don't live in extremes. This whole intermittent fasting thing is nothing extreme whatsoever. It's really very normal. The other type of fast you can do is just a 24-hour once a week fast. So again, you just kind of eat your normal way 6 days a week, and then you take one 24-hour window where again, you're not eating anything. And again, I think that's a little crazy. I don't know. I mean, I've done it, but not eating for 24 hours is quite, that's a stretch. And, at that point, you are possibly breaking down muscles and all those types of things, which we don't want to do. So the fasting that I studied extensively and have followed, it's a 16-hour window of fasting daily, and then an 8-hour window of eating. And some people, if you kind of dig into it, it's called the lean gains method, but I don't know if they just kind of took it as theirs. I mean, it's just a 16-hour, 8-hour split. So what that looks like for me, you guys, is I try to finish eating dinner, and I by no means am rigid with this. And I think that's something important to keep in mind, is that we never want to be so rigid that our life starts to get compromised because of our nutrition plan. That's crazy. But in a perfect world, I like to eat dinner with my family around 6 o'clock, and we're done eating dinner at 6:30. And so if you think about that, then I'm not eating from 6:30 in the evening on. And then I eat the next morning at 10:30. That's the first time I eat. And again, I'll dig into can you have coffee? Can you have this? Can you have that? We're going to dig into that later, probably tomorrow. But I finish eating dinner at 6:30, and then 16 hours later is 10:30 in the morning, and I eat breakfast. So that does not seem that extreme, right? I think it seems more extreme. Even mentally, it's harder for me to wrap my head around. If you were to tell me that I was going to finish eating dinner at 9 o'clock at night and that I couldn't eat until 1 o'clock the next day, that would be really hard, I think. It's just a mental game. It's the exact same amount of hours, but finishing dinner at 6:30 and eating breakfast at 10:30, just mentally is easier to get my head around. So something I really want to share with you that's super important, because this isn't for everybody, number one, but you really have to give it a real go. And so I would say give yourself 10 days of trying this and giving your body time to adjust to see how it works for you. Don't do this for 2 days and go, I totally can't do it. It's the hardest thing ever. Because this is the reality of what my past looks like. So many years ago, 6, 7 years ago, I used to get up and go to the gym every morning. I had little babies at home, and I would scoot out the door at like 5:30 in the morning to go to the gym. Crazy. Thank goodness I work out at home now. But I would do just a kind of a short little workout at the gym. I mean, it was intense, but nothing crazy. And if I didn't eat, like I would wake up, it's crazy. I would wake up at 5 o'clock. I would scramble 2 eggs. I would eat a piece of toast with coconut oil on it, sometimes some fruit. I had to have substantial amounts of sustenance in my body to be able to go to the gym and work out. And you guys, if I skimped on that meal at all, like if I didn't have time to scramble the eggs and I just had a piece of toast and half a banana or something, I literally would almost pass out at the gym. Like my blood sugar would drop and I would feel so shaky that it was almost scary to me to like go to the gym on not enough fuel, right? So my body, what's really important to understand is that my body had gotten accustomed to that. I had trained my body to expect and need a full meal before I worked out. Now I work out 5:30 in the morning every morning, and I don't eat until 10:30. So what's the difference? I gave my body, I went through a training period where I shifted my body. And you guys, now, if I ate that meal before I worked out now when I'm intermittent fasting, I literally would throw up. I'm not exaggerating. I would throw up during my workout. Sorry for the graphic, but that is the reality of how easy it is. You can condition your body to whatever you want, but you've got to get through that first week or two of letting your body adjust to that. So if you're used to eating at 6 o'clock in the morning and all of a sudden you're going to try to be an intermittent faster and not eat until 9 or 10 o'clock, you are going to be really hungry. You are going to feel lightheaded. But here's the situation, you guys. I wake up at 5:15 every day. I don't eat until 10:30. I work out and I'm not hungry at all. I get really hungry around 10 a.m. But my body is conditioned to know that it's not getting food that early, and so it has no desire for food. Like even my husband on the weekend, he'll be cooking this big breakfast and I'm like, oh, I can't. Like I can't even look at food that early, you guys, because I've trained my body to know that it's going to eat at 10:30. So that's what I want you guys to do. I want you to come up with a plan, come up with your window, and you don't have to go right into the 16-hour, 8-hour split. If you are used to eating a lot more frequently, then I would start with like a 12-hour window of fasting versus a 16-hour window. Like baby step yourself into this. That is way better than just jumping into the deep end. And every day you can just nudge it an hour. So and I just kind of want to give you the philosophy too, or at least my personal philosophy. So I used to be chronically sick with strep. I'm a strep carrier. There's such thing. You can be a strep carrier. And I had strep it was probably about 15 times a year I would get strep throat. And it was awful. I would like swallow once and go, oh gosh, it's coming. And within hours I would end up in the ER on IVs. That's how sick I was getting so fast. And I was on, steroids and antibiotics and like doctor after doctor after doctor and doing all the medical things. And there was one period where I got strep yet again. And I was like, I am going to just do something alternative. These drugs, these antibiotics, these steroids are not working. As soon as I would get off the antibiotics and steroids, I would get it like within days. And so I decided to fast, and I did a juice fast, and that's really what helped me fall in love with juicing and open up a business and everything. But I did a juice cleanse where I was just juicing, so my body wasn't digesting food. And in 48 hours, 48 hours of a juice fast, I felt better than I had felt in a year and a half. Well, on all the drugs, all the stuff. And my body kicked out the strep and I felt amazing within 48 hours. So the concept of fasting, and I had studied up on it at that point. The concept is that it takes about 8 full hours for your body to fully digest your last meal. So if you eat at 9 o'clock at night and you're gonna fully digest that meal by 5 a.m. the next morning. And then you wake up and you eat at 6 a.m., right? So it takes your body it takes so much of your body's energy to digest food and to break down what's going on in your gut. And so if, let's say, like 80% of your body's energy goes towards digestion. So if you are using 80% of your body's energy towards digestion, almost 24 hours a day, then you're not utilizing your body's energy to do anything else. So I really saw that when I went on this, juice cleanse, when I was trying to kick the strep, that all of a sudden my body's energy didn't need to be used up to digest my food. All of a sudden I had maximum energy to fight the infection, to rebuild, to replenish, to restore, to do all the things that our bodies are intended to do. So think about that. If you're doing a 8-hour split intermittent fast, then you're giving your body a full 8 hours to rebuild and replenish and rejuvenate and to fight the infections that you don't even know are going on in your body. That is amazing. That is amazing. So here's another like real life thing that you will probably really understand. So have you ever gone out at night and eaten, and not finished eating until 10 or 11 o'clock at night because you're out and you're having dinner and appetizers and wine and all the things. And then you wake up the next morning at 7. So your body hasn't even fully digested all your food. And your eyes are puffy and your cheeks are kind of puffy and you just feel like your vision's almost fuzzy and your whole body feels like puffy. It feels puffy because your body is still trying to work everything out. If you can cut that window off earlier in the evening, you're gonna wake up, and this is the biggest thing I notice, especially if I have to speak on stage or I'm presenting somewhere or I'm leading a workshop, I dial in my intermittent fasting because I know that I am gonna look like clear-eyed, I'm gonna look refreshed, I'm gonna look, not like a train wreck the next morning when I have to speak to 10,000 people. So that is probably the biggest thing you'll notice right off the bat. So just know that we are going to stair step you into this. So again, if you are, think about it. Think about when you eat last. So say you eat last at 9 o'clock at night and you're eating breakfast at 6 a.m. So that's only a 9-hour window, right? So just inch that up by, okay, I'm going to extend that by an hour or 2. And then every day this week, you're just going to try to increase that fasting window so that you're getting that full, 14 to 16-hour window is really where you want to be. And that's where there's some wiggle room in this. So there was something else on the tip of my tongue and now I lost it, but we will be popping in every single day and be taking you through all of this. So ask questions, you guys. Drop whatever thoughts are in your mind below. Any knowledge that you have, we can all share here and give our experience with this. But I will end with this, you guys. Like I said, I like to eat a lot of food, so I don't eat like an apple and a teaspoon of nut butter when I eat my meals. So when you're intermittent fasting and you're only eating in this 8-hour window, one of the most important things, and I'll dig into more of this week, is that when you break that fast, I eat a huge meal. I have sweet potatoes. I have like 4 eggs. I have fruit. Sometimes I make an omelet with cheese and spinach and my eggs. So it is a gigantic plate of food. You are literally refeeding your body when you break that fast. So don't be an intermittent faster and think that you're going to eat like 800 calories during your 8-hour feeding window. You should be eating a lot of food. I basically eat 4 very substantial meals in that 8-hour window. And when you eat enough food and enough fuel during that 8-hour window, you're not hungry during the 16-hour window. You might be at first, but you're not going to be for a while. Or that's not going to last. Your body's going to adjust and go, okay, I got it. She's giving me enough food during this 8-hour window. I've got plenty to survive on. I'm not breaking down any of my muscles or anything like that. And I can adjust to this. So drop your questions below, you guys. I'll be popping in every day this week, Monday through Friday, and we're gonna dig a little bit deeper each day. So let me know what your window is that you plan on doing. You can start today if you haven't eaten yet, but plan for tomorrow. Plan on when you're gonna start eating and when you're gonna stop eating. All right, you guys, looking forward to the week. Bye.